with stressor, we mentioned that there were three major stressors the last program. We mentioned that there were three major stressors that hurt the immune system the most. And we mentioned that the first one was guilt complex, meaning consciously knowing that what you're doing is wrong and you continue to do it. It's an automatic punishing mechanism. It weakens your immune system. Now, they're blaming AIDS on this one. Now, because we're saying that maybe this function, the sex function, is limited for procreation. Now, when we talk about doing whatever we think we should do on the spot, whenever we meet the opportunity, we take advantage of whatever, and this is wrong. This is not the way to use that function. That's for procreation only. So actually, when we do this, and we used to do it at first, we would maybe contract some diseases, venereal diseases, syphilis and others. And as soon as we got infected, oh boy, it was serious then. But then life and death, they thought there was no solution to that problem until finally came penicillin. But then penicillin came and cured us, but then again we continue making the same mistake, using that function for other than procreation. So now, because we did not correct our mistake, we were punished then. Now we're being punished even more severely. Now, how are you going to take care of AIDS? And I think I ventured to say that if we take care of AIDS somehow, and if we continue making the same mistake, we're going to contract something worse than that until finally we learn our lesson that that function is for procreation only, for nothing else. Now, when we mention that we are paying more to entertainers who help us lose our time than to scientists who are trying to save more lives and alleviate suffering, what do we mean by that? I mean, who would ever thought of paying two individuals who appear on television for an hour or less time, they call it boxing, and pay them $20 million for an hour or less? And who gets the $20 million? The one that beats the other one to the floor and cannot get up anymore. And he gets the prize. Can you imagine that? In less than 1 hour of time, $20 million. And we think that $20,000 paying to biologists who are trying to save lives is too much per year. We don't make sense anymore. And why are we paying this so-called champion $20 million? Because he beat the other individual so much that the other individual could not get off from the floor. Now, what do we mean here? We are paying this individual to hurt and destroy God's greatest creation, a human biological body. You wonder how high intelligence in the universe, how long it took that intelligence or those intelligent beings, or whoever they are, who worked on the human biological body to create it, to create a brain the way we have it, the way it is, to create a heart and the circulatory system. And can you imagine we paying this individual to hurt God's greatest creation? We don't make sense anymore. You see, we're moving in the wrong direction. And when you move in the wrong direction and you get into trouble and ask God for help, by what right do you think you're going to get it? Or whatever you call God, somebody upstairs, somebody in the invisible world of the mind, somebody in the spiritual world, non-physical, intangible world. Well, that's intelligence. There's more intelligence that we cannot see than intelligence that we can see in the universe. Well, the second major stressor that we need to watch out for is haven't lost something of great value and unable to recuperate it. That's number 2 in line as the worst stressors that hurt and weaken the immune system the most. You see, if you weaken your immune system and it gets out of control, even if you are an MD, you're going to die as dead as anybody else. And that's for sure. So now, the third, let's say, stressor of the 3 worst ones is living or working under conditions that you hate and you cannot help it. Like it or not, you have to continue. That's number 3. Now, how do we know that stress is getting into us? What are the initial symptoms that we should look out for? The initial symptoms to detect that your immune system is starting to weaken on you are insomnia, headaches, and peptic ulcers. That's the first stage. By this time, either you should not have done what you did, or you should have learned how to neutralize the stress accumulated to date. If you do not know how to neutralize the stress accumulated, it starts building up on you. You move into the second phase. What is the second phase, the symptoms of the second phase? Well, glaucoma, arthritis, high blood pressure, and hypoglycemia. Now, these conditions require medication, and usually people who have contracted these problems are told by their doctors, you need to be under medication for the rest of your life, period. Now, there is a technique that we have happened to come across that helps us to neutralize stress. This is why stress control is the major thing we're doing, and mind development, which is also very important. And we're going to talk about these two, stress control and mind development. Now, by stress control, we mean techniques that can neutralize the stress. Now, in the second stage, if you know the techniques, you need to apply those techniques twice a day to help your doctor solve the problem permanently, your health problem permanently. Of course, if you were using this technique before you contracted any one problem, chances are you never will contract these problems. Now, the next thing, to neutralize stress, or the third stage that is, if you have not neutralized stress on the second stage, you continue accumulating more stress and you move into the third stage. Now, what is the third stage? The third stage has to do with leukemia, cancer, multiple sclerosis, lymphatic problems, blood problems, and these are the difficult ones to cure. They're called incurables. Now, you need to use the technique that you can learn through the Silver Method 3 times a day to help your doctor to see if they can save you now. Doctor does his part, you do your part. If you do not do your part, chances are you will not survive, period. Now, we need to know then how to neutralize stress. The first thing to understand, and we need more of our brain to understand our mission in life, the first thing to understand is that we have been created, it is said, in the image of God. Well, for the purpose of working on creation, for the purpose of perfecting creation, for the purpose of perfecting the planet, for the purpose of converting the planet to a paradise. Are we doing this? Are you doing this? Well, then we need to look into what's going on in that area. We are saying that if one of these heroes, the champion who beat the other one, the one or who hit 400 home runs in baseball, or the softball leader or whatever, the soccer ace or golf ace, whatever, comes to town, you know, we are moving in such a wrong direction that immediately these people are idols for many in town. Some businesses will close because their idol is in town. Newspapers send reporters. Radio stations send microphones. Television send their cameras. Universities send their bands to form parades and so forth and so on, because the one who hit 400 home runs are in town, or the champion number one who knocked everybody to the floor and couldn't get up anymore in boxing is in town. Now, when have we ever done this to individuals who saved humanity millions of hours of suffering and thousands of lives, such as the ones who discovered sulfa, penicillin, and the polio vaccine? Oh, we don't parade these individuals. Sometimes we don't even know that they're in town and they leave. Oh, is that fair? That's a good question to ponder on. Now, keep in mind, when we're moving in the wrong direction and you get in trouble and you ask whatever you call God for help, do you think you qualify to get it? Are you really measuring up to qualify and get this kind of help? A good question to ponder on. Think about that. So then again, why haven't we corrected our problems? Why haven't we learned our lesson? You know, Noah and the ark, way back in time, It is said that maybe we were so far gone that somebody upstairs decided to go back to the drawing board, wipe out everything, start over and over again. Well, right after that, we continue making the same mistakes and not understanding what we're supposed to be doing on this planet. Moses came along, tremendous commandments, but we don't mind them. We continue making the same mistakes and continue going in the wrong direction. Why? Are we not capable of understanding? Are we lacking some mind development to understand that? Here comes others, Abraham, Isaac, Joseph, biggies, trying to correct this problem. But nothing happened. They came and left. We continue making the same mistakes, continue getting into trouble, the same way as though they never came. All these big name individuals, spiritual individuals who have come, you name them, Krishna, Zoroaster, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, trying to correct problems for us. They came and left, and we continue moving in the wrong direction. Right now, we have created so many problems that we really do not know how we are going to get out of them. That's for sure. Now, we need to make some changes somewhere along the line. Maybe we need to become geniuses. Maybe we need to completely change our way of thinking, different perspectives and so forth. Something's got to be done, or else we are moving in the wrong direction towards complete, total destruction of this planet. So then, stress to begin with. Why have we gotten ourselves in these stressful situations? Again, do we have enough brain power? Do we have enough intelligence to understand what we should be doing and not be doing, and so on? Well, to begin with, let's go back again and into our development. We're saying that mind has developed up to a certain degree. Talking about the anabolic cycles, we should live a lifespan of 98 years. It is said the 7 times 7 anabolic cycles, 7 times 7 catabolic cycles, fruit lifespan, meaning when a plum converts, into a prune kind of thing, when grapes turn into raisins, well, this is the anabolic and then the catabolic. And we should die in perfect health. We should just take off, not die. In our sleep, just move on to some other dimension. We call it die sometimes. Well, we say that what shortens the lifespan of planet Earth? Health problems. But if we solve all health problems, we're going to die in perfect health because diseases are not going to kill us. In our sleep, we just take off and that's it. You're in another dimension now. This is what's happening to millions of people per year. Everybody per less than 100 years. Anybody who's alive now will not be here 100 years from now. And that's it. So, again, moving into the direction of mind development. We were saying that what is going to neutralize your stress? Do the right thing. And what is the right thing? Get busy in making corrections on the planet. Try and correct problems, as many as you can. Your problems, anybody's problems. As you become aware of a problem, it is your responsibility to start thinking in the direction of solving it. Whether it's your problem or anybody's problem, it's a problem detected on planet Earth, and you are the keeper of planet Earth. So then, every time you solve a problem, you get a reward, you see. Now, why is this? When you start using your mind and the faculties of mind, now what are the faculties of mind? You see, we're saying that mind and human intelligence are together. They cannot separate human intelligence from mind or vice versa. Like you cannot separate the focusing of the eye to see the faculty of the eye, or the attunement of the ear to hear of the ear. So then we're saying that human intelligence and mind are one unit. You cannot separate them. Now, what are the faculties of human intelligence? The faculties of human intelligence are desire, belief, hope, love. Now, why do we say this? Because there are faculties that regardless how strong or how weak they are, there's no way to measure them with objective instruments. They do not belong to the world of physics. Now, in this case, we need to separate ourselves. One part of ourselves functions in the world of physics, the biological, physical plane, and the other one in the spiritual, intangible, invisible world. Now, the left brain hemisphere is in charge of the instincts, is in charge of the biological, physical plane. The right brain hemisphere is in charge of the invisible world where mind and human intelligence functions. The right brain hemisphere. The right brain hemisphere is the intuitive, spiritual brain hemisphere. You see, it's like in radio, AM and FM. Let's say that AM is the left brain hemisphere and FM is the right brain hemisphere. We need to know how to use FM also. We need to learn to use the right brain hemisphere consciously. You see, for people who do not know how to use the right brain hemisphere, the functioning within that dimension, they call it the subconscious, because it's below the threshold of their consciousness. But as soon as they learn to enter that dimension and learn to use the right brain hemisphere consciously, it ceases to be the subconscious. And that's what the Silva method does. Help people to separate consciousness and use it in the proper dimensions. Consciousness, left brain hemisphere, we're using it in the world of physics. Consciousness, right brain hemisphere, we're using it in the world of mind, the invisible world of the mind. You see, the right brain hemisphere reigns in the invisible world of the mind. The left one reigns in the visible world of physics, of the body. So then, once you learn to use the right brain hemisphere, the subconscious becomes inner consciousness. See, way back before we learn to use the subconscious consciously, there used to be only the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Now that we have learned to use the subconscious consciously, we have now outer consciousness, inner consciousness, and unconsciousness. Outer consciousness, left brain hemisphere function. Inner consciousness, right brain hemisphere function. Now we can use both dimensions, both brain hemispheres, left one and right one. But to find, notice, and this has happened, to find that 90% of humanity are using to think with only the left brain hemisphere, maybe that's the reason why we cannot understand as what our mission in life is. You see, the chart, the left side of the chart has to do with the body. The center part has to do with the brain. So these scales, the little marks, hatch marks, the brain. And the right side has to do with the mind. This chart represents three different areas. Physics, the physical senses, the brain, and mind function on the right. So the blue is the outer consciousness, left brain hemisphere. The green is the inner consciousness, right brain hemisphere. And the red also, inner consciousness, right brain hemisphere. It's the green and red. And the black is the unconscious. We still don't know what's happening there. Maybe in a few more million years, we will get to know what's going on. Because we are learning now to use our brain more and more. We will use it saturated the use of the brain, left brain hemisphere, the blue region completely. Now we're learning to saturate to its maximum the green part and the red part, right brain hemisphere. Now together we're going to venture into the black eventually, and maybe when we have used also the black region, the still black of our brain, maybe we will then understand what we mean when we say God. Why did we have a need to coin that term God? Right now we don't even know what we're talking about. Like I've said before, we think God is always with us. Oh God this, oh God this. Oh, these preachers on television, they claim to always be talking to God, as though God is around all the time. Now, if God is around all the time, what's happened to the rest of the universe? Billions of galaxies and billions of solar systems. Is God unattending them just because of planet Earth? Big question mark. So we need to have a different thought about this. What's going on? We need to really concentrate on, we need to use more of our brain to really understand this. I think that now that we're using both left and right brain hemispheres, which only 10% of humanity by natural means, developed the use of, and the many people that we in mind control have trained, have taught to use. You see, we have 7 million now, over 7 million. But 7 billion is a drop in the bucket when you talk about 5 billion. And saying that only 10% of them are naturally using both brain hemispheres. Maybe this is the reason why we did not understand what Noah meant in the time of the ark, or what Moses meant, or any of the big individuals, big by big spiritual individuals, highly evolved individuals, who I feel were sent to planet Earth to correct this moving in the wrong direction problem. But I don't think that none of this brought the formula of how to correct the wrong way of thinking. That the main problem was in only using the left brain hemisphere to think with, not the right one. When the right one has to do with the invisible world. And there's more invisible than there is visible in the universe. Right now, you know, when we exist on this planet, and we call it the physical plane, we call this plane objective, and the one we cannot see subjective when we are not there. But what about when we are there? Would that be the objective, and this one is subjective? We think so. So wherever we are is objective, and where we're not is subjective. Now we're learning to function in the objective and subjective worlds with mind first, and get to know what's going on in this universe of ours, at the inner levels, at the outer levels. But then again, we need to consider why did humanity did not understand these greats who came before us trying to correct these problems. Was it because they did not have the formula of how to help others learn to use the right brain hemisphere? Could be. We find that one, that's my way of thinking, of course, is my personal thinking because of what I discover that has taken place, and you can check it out and look into it, and you figure it out for yourself also. And we're going to more into the next program because it's more in detail. I don't want to start now because time is getting short, and by our next program, we'll get more into this, why we think that someone came along with the right formula, but we misunderstood this individual. Well, to begin with, we're saying, when you become more spiritual, and that is, develop the use of the spiritual faculties, which means desire, belief, hope, and love. And we mentioned, why are they spiritual? Because we cannot detect them and measure them. In other words, it's a variable. Let's say desire. Desire is a variable. You may have a very strong desire or none at all, yet you cannot measure it. There's no instrument that we can connect you to find out how many pounds or whatever you have of desire. There's no way. Yet it's a variable you have a lot of or none at all. Now that is accumulating spiritual energy in the world of the mind, and one of the ingredients to be able to blend with others, to be able to materialize your thoughts, you see, in order to get your thoughts from the world of the mind into the world of physics. That's what that means. But we must have enough energy to first let it happen, or have it happen in the world of the mind before it can happen any other place. So the first ingredient, the first energy that we need to have is energy accumulated with desire. How do you accumulate energy with desire? By desiring it more frequently, verbally or mentally. And it keeps on growing. You keep on accumulating more and more energy to work with, desire energy to work with, in this spiritual invisible world. Now, belief. Again, belief is another one of those faculties that can be strengthened by repeatedly believing what you believe in and repeating it mentally or verbally to accumulate more energy with your belief factor. Now, there's two ingredients now that we know that you need to increase in strength and blend in order to materialize your thoughts, your goals. Now, the third one is hope. Sometimes it's called expectancy. Hope, what do you hope for? Expect it to happen. Repeat it mentally as frequently as you can or verbally, and it keeps on increasing its energy. So that's the third energy, the third ingredient that you need to combine or blend. Those three ingredients, once blended, is what they say that this energy is what moves mountains. And that's what they call faith. Now we know what that is. Faith means develop enough desire, belief, and hope, and blend it together, and that's the faith that moves mountains. Now we know. So now we know how to develop faith. And love is the same way. Keep on thinking about the one you love, and the more that you would love that person, the less you think about the person, the less you're going to love the person, because you are accumulating. When you think about the person repeatedly, you're accumulating more energy to love with in the world of the mind dimension. And that means using the right brain hemisphere, because that's the one that reigns in the world of the mind dimension, the right brain hemisphere. So the Silva method, what you can do, what it does for you, is help you learn how to use the right brain hemisphere consciously. So then you'll be learning to use the subconscious consciously. So next program, I'll get more into what we think was wrong or went wrong on our development. So good luck and God bless.